Hello everybody and welcome back to another exciting episode of my vlog. I'm your host, Orange Zeppelin, and as you can see, we are now in full festivities. It is December 1st, and in my eyes, that is the acceptable day to get your Christmas on. Any earlier than that, it's like, no, that's too early. Don't put your Christmas tree up on Thanksgiving. Just separate your holidays out. Give us a little space to breathe, and then you can get jolly on December 1st. That's my rule. Any earlier than that, I don't want to hear Christmas music before my birthday, is my rule. That's too damn early. But now it is time to be jolly, the start of December. But first, let's take a look at what actually got accomplished in November, which at first didn't feel like I got a lot done until I wrote it out, and it's like, once again, I'm doing the things where I expected myself to perform a Herculean amount of tasks in a short amount of time. November also involved a lot of celebration because I had my dad's birthday. That was my birthday. That was Thanksgiving. That was a lot of fun and merriment going on, other than just working constantly without any rest, which is not really a good thing for the creative type to do. Not good to burn yourself out. But what did I get done in November? I got not all of Brain Fart Comics issue. Am I on issue 5? I think I'm on issue 5. I can't even remember what issue I'm on. Alright, off to a great start. Most of the current issue of Brain Fart Comics has been completed, and I've got the vast majority of the finished pages scanned and also put into my template, which I am going to make a video explaining how my whole zine making process works. So I have been filming parts of the process. I have these pages left to ink, so I've got 3 pages on this sheet. This actually, and I'll show you guys when I make the video, this ended up not being the smartest idea to just, let me throw my paper on the floor. That's a good idea. We're off to a fantastic start. This ended up not being the best idea because this doesn't fit on my scanner comfortably, and I did have to just do a cut to separate one page from the other 2, so it actually would fit on the scanner. It wasn't a major issue. It was just like a slight little stumbling block around the process. But Brain Fart Comics should definitely be done in time for the holidays if you want to purchase some comics for your friends and family. If you just really don't know what to get them, you can get them some cool comics. And I do have back issues still available if you're interested. I would be more than happy to give people zines as Christmas presents. So that's something that was the main goal, and it kind of ended up not being the main focus. I don't even know what to say what I focused on in November. It seemed like just a lot of things, a lot of separate projects were going on, a lot of little things. I did a collage piece for the November Monsters Holding Bitches prompt, and I'm going to pop this in right there. I didn't initially go into it planning on doing a collage. It was kind of a spontaneous, this needs a background, and I want to have some maybe junk food, some snacks, and I always have a big stash of newspaper with me just to use as drop cloths for painting, or just to use whatever things I might need newspaper for, like paper mache. So I did some collage work with grocery ads, and that ended up, I think, really cool. I'm happy with how that turned out. Collage is something I don't do very often, but when I do, I always have a lot of fun with it. So that happened. I did a painting of Sheogorath in gouache, and I'm going to pop the photo in right here because I don't have the painting conveniently right next to me. It's not the best photo because that particular notebook is hard to take pictures of. It's hard to work in. The paper's a little weird. It's kind of like working on a paper towel. It's very absorbent, but it actually worked pretty well for gouache, so that was a fun experiment. I was inspired to do it because there's somebody whose name I don't remember that I've been seeing on YouTube who does these really cool gouache portraits, and will do a video where I think she records herself talking over the process. It's not like she's talking as she's painting. It's more like a edited and post thing. But she's really fun to watch. It is cool to just see how good these portraits are in gouache, and it's a really fun medium if you haven't experimented with it. If you want the speed of watercolor but want watercolor that doesn't make you want to rip your head off, gouache is pretty good. I think the blending that you get from gouache, I would almost compare it to oils and how good it can blend. So definitely worth giving it a shot if you haven't experimented with that before. So we had gouache painting, and then is it around here? Did I actually get it out, or did I put it somewhere else? I was sure that I got that out. I have it was a paper mache project, and I was pretty sure that I had it in here, and now I don't think I do. I'm gonna pause. Okay, here we go. It was probably like visible in the background. It was on my pillow, and so it was blending into the pillow. I had to get up and look for it. Okay. This started as just a skull probably from Michaels originally, and it's hard to tell exactly what is happening because I've paper machéd a lot of the face closed. But this is going to be one of the Dragon Priest masks from Skyrim when it's finished. I want to do a full layer of gesso on this and then decide, do I need to do any more detailing like this, or do I want to do the details just in paint? So this has been kind of worked on here and there. The weather's been very, very cold by, Central Californian standards. So basically not cold at all. We're not going to be seeing any snow at all unless it's in an apocalyptic scenario, but it's what Californians living on the beach would define as cold. Just a little too chilly to be out working on paper mache. And also it's raining today, so that working on anything outside isn't the best plan, but that's been happening. And then, actually, a lot of the other things... Oh, wait a minute. I forgot the most exciting news. I was going to go on to the list of the videos I made, which you guys already saw. Made the Art Snacks video, 100 sub special. That is up. And then did my Inktober roundup. But one of the most exciting things that happened this month is I got Clip Studio Paint for my birthday. Got that onto my laptop. And I've been learning how to use it, and it's pretty easy to figure out if you're used to Photoshop, if you're used to GIMP. It's not that big of a learning curve. There's some things that I did have to look up. Okay, how do you adjust brightness and contrast in your hues? It was under, I think you had to go into edit and tonal corrections, which isn't something I would have immediately thought of, but ultimately it has not been that difficult to figure out. The text tool is so much better than GIMP. Like, I will stand GIMP all day, but the text tool, I can't defend that. The text tool in GIMP is really bad. The text tool in Photoshop is much better. It's not too difficult. I'm finding that Clip Studio Paint, and I specifically got Clip Studio Paint Pro, so things might be a little bit different in the non-pro version. I don't really know, but I did find that they've got templates that you can open up that are basically comic pages, and I did notice there is like a fanzine template, so I want to experiment with that because there is a possibility that I might make my life much easier if I've got a zine template already made, which I haven't been having too much trouble with the one that I made in Photoshop. The only thing that's going to be a little complicated, so I've got my pirate version of Photoshop on the desktop, which is where I do all my scanning, And so it's just very convenient for me to do my zine assembly on the desktop, because that's also where I'm going to do all my printing. So I'm doing all that stuff with Photoshop. I would have to transfer files onto my laptop and then edit things and then transfer them back onto that computer to do printing. So it wouldn't be super convenient, but it would be worth it to check it out, because then I can give advice to people who are maybe thinking of that option using the fanzine template. And there's just a lot of other things that I'm super interested in checking out. There's a lot of brushes that so far have been really fun to use. I'm somebody that was using the absolute basic circle brush on both Photoshop and GIMP for everything and not really expanding beyond that. So more recently I've been really pushing myself to play around with brushes more. And there is pen stabilizer adjustments, which, as somebody who's mostly a traditional artist, it's something that's a little bit over my head how to use, just how to make your tablet pen cooperate a little better. I don't know. I can't draw directly into a digital program. I have to draw something in pencil, ink it, and then scan it and do all my coloring. If I try to draw directly with the computer, with the tablet pen, it's kind of going to look like Hot Duty. I haven't figured out how to make it not look like Hot Duty. I hope it's not my tablet specifically, because I don't want to get a new tablet because mine is perfectly fine, damn it. But it could just be I don't know how to, I'm just not used to doing it, and I don't have the right settings, or just what I'm looking at is messing with my brain in terms of how I normally draw. So lots of things to experiment with Clip Studio Paint, but I said all of that to tell you that I did make a beautiful, I hope beautiful piece of artwork with Clip Studio Paint. If you saw my recent video where I talked about the Warrior comic that I found at a comic shop recently for $1 whole, this comic that I've heard described as, like, if you've seen the movie The Room, this is like The Room of comics. It's terrible. It's fascinating. I've wanted it for years, ever since I first learned about it, and I was so excited that it inspired me to create art. It inspired me to redo the cover in my own style. I do remember that way back when I first heard about it, maybe when I was in middle school, I did draw Warrior at some point, not even really knowing about him as a wrestler, but I have done Warrior fan art before. That was, I think it was probably based off of that time. I was probably looking at the art style and be like, man, this is like the worst of American comics art-wise. I'm going to make it cooler by making it anime. And it was probably a terrible drawing. I mean, this is presumably 13-year-old me, so it was not going to be very good. I do kind of think that the art in this comic has now I don't want to be insulting the artist who was behind this comic and had to deal with Ultimate Warrior's insane ranting, but he kind of really is a dollar store Rob Liefeld, and I don't think he's done anything recently. When I looked up his comic history, it's all back in the 90s. I don't know if he's worked on anything recently, so this isn't somebody who's like in the industry currently, as far as I know. But anyway, that was my homage to the Warrior. That happened, and was that it for November? I feel like it probably wasn't, and I'm forgetting something that I worked on at some point. I don't know. It was like a decent list of things I got done, I hope. What I didn't get done, I didn't get very far into planning Wool Awesome Space Babe X. I didn't really plan anything with that Beowulf comic that I want to rewrite, which I already said that was kind of that was going to be a long form comic. Well, a long form project, something that's going to be stretched out for a while. I'm not going to I probably won't try to tackle it in a really short amount of time. I am remembering that sometimes I've used Camp NaNoWriMo sessions to do that, but at the same time, I feel like I want to, once Brain Fart Comics is done, I'm going to take a little bit of a break from any comic stuff. I'm not going to do anything with Whoa Awesome Space Babe X. The Beowulf comic I'll think about, but probably won't do anything. I want to focus on other projects because comics are very time consuming, and I already do multiple Gobliterated strips every month. That I sometimes don't even mention that in my vlogs, is the Gobliterated strips that are every other week. So that usually takes most of the day to finish, so there's like a whole day out of that week that's that one specific comic. So a lot of comic things taking up a lot of time, so I'm going to just take a little bit of a break after Brain Fart Comics, and then I'll get back on the other stuff. The other things that didn't get finished, well, the zine making video didn't, but that's just because I didn't finish the zine. And then a few other videos that will be coming very soon, I didn't get as far on the planning as I wanted to this month. Though maybe I shouldn't say that. I'm not as far along in the process of making them as I'd like to be. I've got pretty much everything squared away in terms of what I'm gonna make. And I'm trying to remember what day they're gonna start popping up on, but they'll be coming. They will definitely be coming, all very Christmas themed. I've done some recording on videos already. I'm going to try to make them really short because, again, I'm making 12 of them, and I don't completely want to do that to myself, making 12 long-ish videos. Is that it for November? That might be it for November. So November was a busy month that I didn't necessarily get as much done, but like I said, I set ridiculous goals for myself. If you have been on this, if you have watched this channel for more than a few vlogs, you know, Jesus Christ, woman, settle down sometimes. Hold yourself to lower standards. Okay, so I mean, the December list doesn't look a whole lot better, but I swear it actually is a better list. I have basically just Brain Fart Comics is the main goal to finish, and that is only 4 or 5, depending on how you're counting pages, because one of the pages, it's technically like, it's going to be in a spread, so it's kind of like one really wide page. You could count it as one, count it as 2 pages. So it's maybe about 4 pages that need to be finished. I think I have 3 that I have not scanned yet. But that should all be done pretty damn soon, and I want to do that how-to video at some point. I have 2 paintings, 2 little watercolor paintings I'm going to do as Christmas presents. I did come up with an idea for something I might make for one of my friends. It just, I don't know if he has a Game Boy Pocket, because I want to do something really cool with the Game Boy Pocket shell I have left over from some of my Game Boy restoration stuff, which I've still been doing. I actually have a Nintendo DS Lite sitting over there, mostly gutted. I'm afraid to try to pop it open any further, but I need to just muscle past the fear and figure out why the D-pad is working a little weird. I've been really lucky on the DS systems that I've bought as basically broken systems. A couple of them I bought and they were advertised as not working, specifically because they said, the seller said that they didn't have a charger, couldn't charge them, couldn't figure out if they were working or not. So I bought these 2 DS Lites, or no, DSIs. I bought 2 DSIs for a very good price. Used my charger, they worked perfectly. I just cleaned some of the goobers off of them, because one of them was obviously owned by a little kid at some point, and you know, little kids kind of goober on things, so I had to clean that up. But those both worked perfectly fine. I had a DS Lite that I bought where I confirmed it was just the battery was dead, and that's the only thing that was wrong with it. I was able to replace that. This one's a little more complicated. because as I was playtesting it, I noticed that the going up on the D-pad wasn't really working super well, so I have to figure out what exactly is going on with that. So I wasn't quite as lucky with my purchase, but it is a cool learning experience. So I don't remember what I was talking about that led into DS restoration, but that is something that I'm going to be fixing that this month. That should be on my list. I did find out about, I did discover this event going on Tumblr, but maybe also on Instagram, the Gobladays art prompts. There are going to be, there was a list of art prompts throughout December that are, it's like holiday goblin. It's just gonna be a good time. Holiday and goblin, Gobladays. And it's not a daily art prompt thing either. I don't think there were very many of them. It's like maybe 2 a week to the end of this month, so not every day. It is a much more manageable list of prompts. So it's like, you know what, we're gonna have some holiday goblins. I am here for it 100%. So that's gonna happen. And that's actually all I decided to do. All I decided to put on my list for December. It's just comics, 2 present paintings, goblins, and then any other things that come up. That can happen. I'm just not gonna make my list super extensive. And then the video stuff is where things are gonna get crazy. Like I said, we've got 12 videos. You're gonna see what those are. I'm presumably going to be getting an Art Snacks box, hopefully, probably very, very soon. So there will be an Art Snacks video, and then I have one other video very close to the end of the year that will be a surprise. So you're going to see what that is. And one of the things I want to do, now that I think about it, because the end of the year is coming up, I have, let me roll over here and grab it. I have this 5-year planner that I got for last Christmas. I might actually do a quick look through on what I've been doing in the planner, which, let me just jump to a blank day. The way this planner works is, this is going to be December 14th for basically the next 5 years. So all this year I've been putting an entry in this top, in the upper column here, and then next year it's going to start there. So eventually, at the end of 5 years, I'm going to have all these entries for what happened on this day for the last 5 years. I'm going to do a quick look through in a video of what I've been doing, some of the little drawings I've been doing in here, and also my main thing, like the main gimmick, I guess, of my 5-year planner is I've been writing all my entries in Scottish Gaelic because that's what I've been learning since September of last year. So I was able, I knew enough Gaelic by, I need to get some water. Give me a second here. All right, hydration acquired, much better. I was able to, by January of this year, I knew enough Gaelic that I could articulate simple things. I can tell you what the weather is. If I learned a new word, I would just construct a sentence around that, which I'm still coughing here. I'm going to wrap it up here, otherwise you're going to be listening to me cough for the remainder of the video, and nobody wants to listen to that. So, in conclusion, December, it's going to be a little busy, but it's also going to be holly and jolly, and I have plenty more cool videos coming up in the future, so I'm going to call it good right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Comment down below what kind of holiday art projects you got going on. If you're making something for anybody, if you're just making fun things for yourself, whatever cool things are going on in your holiday season, whatever holidays you celebrate, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, your pagan Yule holidays, all of those. We like all of those on this channel, and I hope you have a wonderful time making art.